Welcome to RPGX. Today we're counting down our picks for the best action RPGs that you should check out. And without further ado, let's dive right in. Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. Okay, this dark fantasy RPG is one of the best AA surprises of recent years. It's basically Oblivion and Skyrim's creepy cousin, same open world vibe, but drenched in grim, unsettling atmosphere. The combat is good, but not mind-blowing. Swinging swords and casting spells also feels fine, but it's everything else that sells the experience. The world design, the quests, the mood, and that haunting Arthurian spin. And yes, for the price, it's absolutely worth it. So, if you grew up wandering around the Elder Scrolls games and just want something new but familiar, this one delivers.
Get back up.
Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. Now, if you're here for cutting-edge combat, this isn't the one. I mean, the combat's fine, but it's easily the weakest on this list. And let's be honest, that's not why you play Banishers. This game is all about the story, the characters, and the emotional gut punches. The premise is unique, and the writing delivers plenty of twists that keep you hooked. Also, the level design takes heavy inspiration from the modern God of War games, with tight, story-driven environments and exploration that feels purposeful. So yes, if you want a narrative-heavy action RPG with heart, this is your pick. Black Myth, Wukong. Alright, a lot of Western gamers are calling this game mid, but honestly, I think that's because they don't get the lore. Journey to the West is one of the most famous stories in Asia, and Wukong leans into that mythology hard. And that's actually the strength of the game. It brings iconic Asian folklore to a global audience, something most Chinese action RPGs have struggled to pull off. Now, is it the deepest RPG out there? No. Some even say it's light on RPG altogether, but as a polished Souls-light experience with fresh cultural flavor, it definitely earns its spot. The Elder Scrolls IV, Oblivion Remastered. Okay, if you love Skyrim but always felt like Oblivion was just too outdated to go back to, then this remaster is exactly what you've been waiting for. It brings that classic Elder Scrolls experience up to modern standards without losing the weird, charming energy that made Oblivion special in the first place. And if you played it back in the day and loved it, then this one is a no-brainer. But let's be real, if you're only into modern games with flawless graphics and hand-holding mechanics, you probably won't vibe with this one. The first Berserker, Khazan. Alright, if you enjoyed Lies of P or Souls games, then this one should be on your radar. It's a must-try for fans of tough but fair combat. The fighting is fast, precise, and built around a clean parry system. And dodging works too, if you want the extra challenge. But either way, every encounter demands focus. Moreover, the mechanics are well designed, the challenge hits that sweet spot, and the overall flow is satisfying. But let's be real, if you don't like hard games where combat actually matters, skip this. Stick with safer mainstream RPGs instead. Fallout, New Vegas. Yeah, it looks outdated. The gunplay's janky, the animations are stiff, and your character moves like they've got arthritis. But guess what? Real RPG players don't care, because underneath all that crust is one of the best written, most choice-driven RPGs ever made. And the game actually lets you roleplay. You can lie, manipulate, double-cross, or just nuke everyone. Every faction has depth, every choice has weight. No hand-holding, no forced morality. So yeah, if you're here for shiny graphics and mindless action, keep it moving. But if you want an action RPG with actual role-playing, then you need this. Nioh 2. Okay, this is one of those RPGs that lives and dies by its combat, and it absolutely nails it. Every swing, dodge, and stance change feels sharp and satisfying, with enough depth to keep you experimenting for hundreds of hours. But don't expect the RPG side to reach the level of The Witcher 3 or Skyrim. The focus here is 100% on the fighting. So, if you love RPGs with combat that feels incredible, then this is the one. And with Expeditions, which is its co-op mode, you can team up with friends, assuming you have any, and take on brutal missions together. Lies of P. Alright, this one nails pretty much everything you'd expect from the Souls-like genre. Challenging bosses, tight combat, and a dark, oppressive world, while still managing to feel fresh, of course. Sure, not every little detail is perfect, but none of the flaws hurt the overall experience. And one of the reasons it became popular is because the devs took the best parts of Bloodborne and Sekiro and blended them seamlessly. The combat feels like a brutal mix of both, and the weapon assembly system adds a clever layer of customization. So yeah, it's easily one of the best non-From Software Souls-likes. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, this isn't the massive open adventure you'll see in Rebirth. This one is more linear, the combat isn't as flashy, and the scope feels tighter. But that's not a bad thing. So, if what you want is a modern reimagining of a classic, this is the one that delivers. That said, if you're still clinging to the original and expecting a one-to-one remake, you'll walk away disappointed. This game is for new players or for fans open to a different take on the legend. So yeah, open your mind a little and you'll find plenty to love here. Cyberpunk 2077. We all remember when this game was launched. It's full of glitches, crashes, and T-posing NPCs doing the Macarena. But now, with all the updates and Phantom Liberty DLC, this thing has morphed into one of the greatest action RPGs of all time. I mean, the world is alive, the builds are deep, and the story insanely good, especially with Idris Elba joining Keanu Reeves. And let's be honest, half of you only bought this game because Keanu said,
"Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn."
So if you skipped it back then, now's the time. Tales of Arise. Okay, this one is tailor-made for players who prefer their RPGs with a heavy dose of anime flair. It's a straight-up action JRPG, and if you're coming in expecting Skyrim or The Witcher 3, you're in the wrong place. It's fast, flashy, and unapologetically Japanese in its style and storytelling. So, if you're only into realistic character designs and can't stand anime girls, don't even bother. But if you've been craving a JRPG with smooth, modern action combat and colorful over-the-top characters, this one absolutely delivers. It's easily one of the best in the series. Fallout 4. Alright, if you couldn't stand the jank of Fallout 3 or New Vegas, this is probably the one for you. This one ditched a lot of the clunky mechanics, tightened up the shooting, and delivered a smoother, more modern experience. The combat is miles better, guns feel responsive, power armor feels like a tank, and VATS is slicker than ever. The trade-off is clear though, the RPG elements took a hit. Choices aren't as deep, dialogue is simplified, and role-playing freedom isn't what it used to be. But if you want a cleaner, action-heavy Fallout, then this is the one. Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 Remix. Okay, this is the ultimate version of the first 6 stories in the series. Each title has upgraded visuals, smoother performance, and quality of life tweaks that make them way easier to revisit today. And yes, the art style is colorful, cartoonish, and even childish, but don't let that fool you. Underneath the goofy charm are RPGs with tight combat, memorable worlds, and an iconic soundtrack, especially the first 2 main games. So, if you're a self-proclaimed Sigma male who only worships hardcore Souls games, skip this. For everyone else, this is pure magic. NieR Automata. Now, this game is famous for two things. It's slick, satisfying combat, and, let's be real, two bee's thighs that basically turned her into a gaming icon. But don't let the memes distract you. This game is much more than fan service. The world is unique and haunting, different from the usual post-apocalyptic wastelands. It blends machine ruins, surreal landscapes, and a weirdly beautiful atmosphere that sticks with you. Think of it as Bayonetta, but with more RPG elements and a story that hits you right in the existential crisis. So yeah, this game is peak cult classic energy, stylish, weird, and unforgettable. Final Fantasy XVI. Alright, RPG players have had a field day roasting this one as the least RPG Final Fantasy ever, and honestly, they might be right. And fans of the old-school Final Fantasy games usually hate it, especially if they're used to turn-based battles and party micromanagement. But here's the flip side. If you want an action RPG with absolutely jaw-dropping combat, this is unmatched. I mean, Titans throwing down against other Titans in massive cinematic battles? Man, nobody else is doing it like this. So yeah, classic Final Fantasy fans may scoff, but for spectacle junkies, this is your game. Dragon's Dogma 2. Okay, let's be real. Most fans still worship the first game like it cured their depression. And yeah, this one didn't blow up the formula. It's more like a remastered sequel, if that makes sense. But here's the thing, it plays smoother, looks better, and the pawn system is still weirdly addictive. And yeah, it's not perfect, and no, it won't hit you with nostalgia chills like the original. But if you treat it as a polished, better executed version of what came before, it's actually solid. So yeah, wait for a sale if you are unsure. But don't skip it, it's underrated fun. Kingdom Come, Deliverance 2. No dragons, no magic, no pretty elf baddies, just mud, steel, and historically accurate peasant drama. But don't let the lack of fantasy fool you. This is still a real RPG through and through. It's a mix of deep dialogue choices, branching quests, stat-based progression, and consequences that actually matter. And compared to the first game, it's a massive glow-up. So if you want a grounded, brutally realistic RPG where even your sword swings depend on skill, this one's for you. And if you're a fantasy RPG fan, give it a shot. You might actually learn something, like hardship and suffering. Dark Souls 3. Sure, Elden Ring gave us a massive open world to get lost in, but Dark Souls 3 proves that smaller can still mean deadlier. The world here is tighter, more focused, and every step feels deliberate. And the bosses? Absolute bangers. From towering monstrosities to lightning-fast duelists, every fight feels like a highlight reel. The combat is also peak Soulsborne, streamlined, responsive, and just the right mix of speed and weight. No clunky nonsense, no filler. It's basically pure, concentrated suffering in the best way possible. So, if you want epic boss battles without the open world wandering, then this is your jam. Monster Hunter World. Now, this one isn't for players who want deep storytelling. It's for people who don't give a damn about cutscenes and just want to sink their teeth into pure gameplay. This game is all about the combat loop, tracking monsters, learning their patterns, and taking them down with style. Every fight is an event, every weapon feels different, and the grind is insanely addictive. And you know what? I also thought about putting the newest entry, Monster Hunter Wilds, on this list, but honestly, World is still the king of modern Monster Hunter games. It's polished, accessible, and endlessly replayable. Bloodborne. No, it's not as massive as Elden Ring, but size isn't everything. This game proves that. The world here is tight, interconnected, and absolutely dripping with atmosphere. Every alley, shortcut, and grotesque nightmare creature feels carefully placed to ruin your day. And if you're a true Soulsborne fan and still haven't played this, honestly, shame on you. This game alone is worth buying a PS4 or a PS5 if you want those sweet load times. The combat is fast, aggressive, and the boss fights? Pure nightmare fuel in the best way. Simply put, you don't own From Software until you've played this.
Cloud? Something wrong?
No, nothing.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Let's be honest, OG fans of the original are some of the hardest people to please. They've been side-eyeing this remake like it personally insulted their childhood, but honestly, this game slaps. As a modern action JRPG, it's phenomenal. The combat is smooth, flashy, and actually requires brain cells. The world is massive and packed with side content, and the character interactions, top tier. Sure, it takes creative liberties, but that's the point. It's not a one-to-one remake, it's a reimagining. So unless you're still stuck in 1997, give this game a real shot. The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. Now, this is a game that did the impossible. It broke into the mainstream and kept the respect of hardcore RPG nerds. Usually, when a game gets this popular, it gets dumbed down, but this one stayed sharp. It delivered complex characters, tough moral choices, and a world so detailed it made other open-world games look empty. And Geralt isn't just a badass with a sword. He's a fully realized character navigating politics, monsters, and chaos. And the writing? Easily some of the best in gaming. So yeah, it's not just popular, it's legitimately one of the best RPGs ever made. Mass Effect 2. Alright, so the first game had more RPG elements, sure. But this is the one that turned Mass Effect into a legend. The combat's smoother, the pacing's sharper, and the characters are straight up unforgettable. Every mission feels like its own movie, and the squad is easily one of the best in any RPG. And now with the Legendary Edition, the whole trilogy got cleaned up. No more crusty visuals or missing DLC, it's all in there, ready to go. So yeah, this is peak BioWare, firing on all cylinders, and if you call yourself an RPG fan, you need to play this.
Someone reprogrammed them.
The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim. Skyrim out of the box? It's good, but modded Skyrim? Now that's a whole different beast. This game is basically a blank canvas. You don't just play it, you shape it. Want it to look like a next-gen game? Done. Want survival mechanics, new quests, anime followers, or a completely broken magic system? You can. Think of it like GTA, but for RPG fans. It's a playground for chaos, creativity, and total immersion. Simply put, the base game gives you the bones, but the mods give it a soul, and once you go down that rabbit hole, there's no coming back. Elden Ring. Now, this is peak Soulsborne. From Software took everything they've learned over the years and stitched it into one near-perfect monster of a game. Massive open world, killer boss fights, and that classic "you died" message we all pretend to enjoy. And let's not ignore the fan base. Y'all dress your characters like depressed royalty, wield a sword the size of a car, and act like you understand the lore when you absolutely don't. But hey, the vibe is strong, the combat is flawless, and the freedom is unmatched. So if you're into beautiful pain and brooding aesthetics, this is your holy grail. So do you agree with our picks? Check out these other videos from us and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.
I persist.